Hello, Pisces, and welcome in for your reading for the first half of August. Today we'll be taking a look at your career or job, and then also your relationships, be it romantic partnerships and friendships, and then also taking a look at your path and your life mission. So, before we jump into that, there's a few kind of big things that are happening coming up here in the first part of August. So on August 1st, we actually are going to have the Sturgeon full moon, and it's going to be a supermoon in Aquarius. And so the supermoons, that's when the moon is closer to Earth, so it'll appear about 17% bigger and up to 30% brighter. And this energy is really about expressing original thoughts and ideas, even if they might be unpopular ones. So it's really about kind of standing in your truth, just like that other energy we talked about last time with the North Node in Aries, about standing in your truth. One of the other big things it's already started to happen is the Lionsgate portal. So that started opening up a couple of days ago, and it peaks on August 8th, and then it will close on August 12th. And so that's really a time to focus on your manifesting and kind of manifesting new ideas and aspirations, and really sort of setting your intention for what it is that you want to do and move towards. We also have a lot of planets that are in retrograde, so we'll be taking a look at some of those as well as we go through the reading. So let's go ahead and start out with the career job front and see what comes up. All right, so in the recent past, we have the Devil, currently sitting in the Ten of Swords energy, and then the upcoming energy is the Six of Swords in reverse. So that Devil energy, that's kind of like your worldly temptations, obsessions, addictions, kind of unforeseen failures. So maybe you were running into some problems in the past with the job perspective. On the obsession side, this can also be things like just being in general a workaholic, and maybe you've become too fixated on some of the work scenarios, whether it's because you just love your job and you're pouring everything you have into it, or that you kind of feel like you're between a rock and a hard place. Like, oh, I really need to make more money. I need to provide more for my family. So I'm just going to focus so much on that. It can also be an issue of having problems setting boundaries to say, hey, you know what? This is what I'm doing. I said I was taking the day off. I'm not going to get roped into work drama. But that kind of obsessive workaholic energy has led you to currently being in the Ten of Swords energy. And that is really that like exhaustion, defeat. You're just totally depleted and worn out, which, if you're running yourself into the ground, that's kind of likely to happen. And the likely outcome, though, the Six of Swords in reverse is really about being stuck in a rut and kind of that instability, the resistance to having positive changes in your life. So this seems to be like in the first half of August, it's really going to point this out to you and highlight kind of the imbalance that you're seeing in your life. And again, take only what resonates. So this may not be the case for all Pisces right now, but as we're really kind of being called upon to go inwards, and that's what the retrogrades are all about. It's about shifting that focus inward to see what needs to be healed in order to move forward in your life, in order to accomplish what you were intending to accomplish on this earth. And so things like looking at with Saturn being in retrograde, that's how can you attain your goals? What should we be investing our energy in? And I think this cycle is going to be showing you that, maybe you need to invest less energy there. While, yes, obviously your job is important to you, if it's getting you to a point where you're a workaholic, you're obsessed with your work, and you're just feeling burned out, and you're resisting some of that positive change, like, oh, I just but this is what I always do, that's going to lead to imbalances in general. So that's something that also the Pluto retrograde is taking a look at, revisiting what needs to be transformed within your life. And so Pluto's kind of the destroyer type of energy, and looking at really focusing some critical thoughts on this situation, and is it really necessary to do that? What could I be doing differently within my life? Is it time to pull back? And some of that depends on what stage of your life you're in. For example, people in their 20s tend to work more. When you look, in corporate America, kind of what is the work cycle of the average employee? Usually in their 20s, if they're single, they're more focused on work and kind of building their empire, so to speak. And then, everybody's focus level at work changes based on life situations. On average, then in their 30s, if people are having family, they're kind of maybe trying to balance that out, and in their 30s and 40s, and then their 50s are getting ready for retirement. So depending on where you are in your work cycle, that could be kind of natural that you work a lot, but only you'll know whether it's getting to the point where it's interfering with other things. So let's take a look at the relationship, romance side of things. Two of Cups in reverse in the past, King of Cups in reverse in the present, and Queen of Cups in reverse for the near future or likely outcome. So the Cups energy, Cups are about emotions. So all of those showing up in the romance part, kind of tends to follow, since that's all about emotions. And with your Two of Cups in reverse, that's kind of that feeling of solitude or rejection. So maybe you're currently single, and so that's why you have kind of that feeling of solitude, or it could be that you're just missing some of that closeness within your relationship, which if this is the scenario where there's issues with kind of being a workaholic and not being able to set those boundaries in terms of, okay, now I'm stepping away from my work, that could be leading to some of those feelings of separation or solitude within an existing relationship. So the King of Cups in reverse is kind of that stressed, worried, maybe even some manipulation. And, all of these are pulling in together. If you're spending a lot of time at work and you're feeling like your relationship has been suffering because of that, naturally you're going to be worried and stressed about it. And that's going to lead to these feelings of kind of like neediness or fragility or insecurity, because of the fact that you've put so much focus up here. It's like there's that understanding that, oh my gosh, this needs, this is suffering because of the work situation. And one of the other retrogrades that's happening right now is Venus in retrograde, which is sometimes kind of like that make it or break it energy for a relationship. So just as a word of caution, failure to do anything about this could end up pushing your relationship to a breaking point or like a damaging point, with some of that extra, I'll call it stressful energy coming from the Venus retrograde. And also Chiron is in retrograde, and that's that wounded healer energy, or wounded and healing energy. So, that's really about focusing on what wounds need to be healed. And so depending on what your partner is going through, they may be having feelings of abandonment if they feel like they're taking a back seat to your career. So let's take a look and see what is coming up for your life path mission. All right. Ace of Swords, Four of Wands in reverse, and Knight of Swords. Your Ace of Swords, that's in the recent past, you've been thinking about new projects or breakthroughs, or, you're kind of having some of that clarity, and it could be connected to your job, but a lot of times it's not necessarily the case. But, maybe you've realized this situation and it's been causing you to think more about what is my purpose, what is my life path. Your present energy, though, this Four of Wands in reverse, that is kind of like there's some family discord, there's lack of teamwork, there's self-doubt. And, with this picture, that's not surprising that that's how you're feeling. But, and usually this card is seen as being a very positive card when it's in the upright, very positive card for twin flames because it's the 1111. If you are in a twin flame relationship or you're looking for one, upright or in reverse, you still have the 1111. So there's kind of that cue that maybe that is in play here as well. For the future, the Knight of Swords in reverse, that's kind of like that missed opportunities and maybe kind of lacking some direction and some focus. And so I feel like all of this is kind of getting a really strong sense of, for some Pisces that this hyper focus on work is kind of trickling down into all of these other areas, and that maybe that's something that needs to be revisited kind of during this time frame. And as we had talked about, like with the North Node moving into Aries, that's really about that healthy level of selfishness where, you're not trying to people please all the time. You're not putting everybody else's needs before you, because some of the times that's what happens, when you fall into these cycles of working a lot. Sometimes it's not because necessarily that, oh, well, you're just trying to get, fortune and glory. It's, but these people need me. They really need me to do this. I have to do this because no one else can. And so the North Node moving into Aries is really that reminder of, be selfish, like put your own needs first. Your happiness is important. So let's see what message is coming through from Gaia for you. Sacred Earth Mother, a message of love. And that one, you could put it kind of under either one of those, but I think that message of love is, if you've been feeling that disconnect, what is it that you need to do to get that relationship back on track, and to feel more connected? And kind of that message of love is what is being recommended to you. All right, let's take a look at our light worker card and see what message comes through here. Get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature, especially with the full moon coming up on the 1st, depending on where you're at geographically, and whether you can even see the moon. I haven't checked the weather to see if it's supposed to be cloudy, but if you have the opportunity to safely go for a stroll in the moonlight, sometimes that can be very grounding. Anytime you can get out in nature and go for walks, especially if you can walk along the beach or have time in the water, that's a wonderful way to ground. And that will help kind of bring a little bit more clarity. I know, kind of when I walk on the beach and you have that feeling of, oh my gosh, I am so small in this world. It kind of helps put everything in perspective that, sometimes we're scurrying around trying to do all these things. And it's like, whether I do this or not, these waves are going to continue to, kind of lap up on the shore. These birds are going to continue to fly overhead, and it kind of just puts it in a different perspective. So let's see what is coming through on your romance card. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So that one definitely, as it pertains to this message here about, feeling like maybe your relationship is taking a back seat to some of these work things. And this is that push of make the effort. Make sure that the person or people in your life, make sure that they know how important they are to you, and don't let yourself get distracted with this devil energy and 3D temptations. Again, there, obviously you need to put food on the table, roof over your head, but don't let that 3D matrix type of energy pull you away from the other things that are more spiritually meaningful and more important in your life. So I hope that has been helpful. And as I said before, take only what resonates for you. And if this is information that you think might be helpful to somebody else, certainly I would encourage you to share that with them. I will be doing some other readings as well. In about a week or so, I'll do a twin flame reading. And then, as always, I'll have the daily single card pulls with one of the major arcana cards and a few oracle cards as well. So I hope that everybody has a wonderful weekend. And as always, I wish you joy and peace along your journey. And hit that subscribe button and the notifications if you want to hear about when some of these other videos are going to be posting. Otherwise, I'll have another similar video to this for the second half of August. And we will see you then. Bye-bye.